The Baltimore Ravens got a triple dose of good news, and we're going to fill out all these three colorful boxes, tell you what they are, one subject by one subject by one subject. But you got to wait. Thanks so much for tuning in to Ravens Rundown. I am your host, Joey Petersen, and I have to remind you all, a little programming reminder, we will be live tonight at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I guess I should say later this evening. Like to RSVP, okay? I want to get a head count. Want to see how much chips and guac I need to make. See how much fruit punch I need to get at the store before we get going. So like the video to RSVP for tonight. The part one of our three-part series of good news the Baltimore Ravens have received is a little bit of injury news. They got back to practice after enjoying the long, extended bye weekend, and you got to see a lot of familiar faces. Only a couple of people didn't practice. Here is the list for you. Diontae Johnson, he didn't practice because of his suspension. Sanoussi Kane did not practice because he's dealing with a hamstring injury. But guys like Rashod Bateman, he practiced after having to leave the game against the Eagles. Kyle Van Noy, he practiced after not playing in the game against the Eagles. And everybody else was out there. Only Diontae Johnson and Sanoussi Kane were the two guys that missed. Let's talk a little bit about Rashod Bateman, because like I said before, he left the game against the Eagles with a little bit of knee soreness. Obviously, that led to the whole Diontae Johnson frustration, him asking him to go in and replace Rashod Bateman. He said no, yada, yada, yada. You guys know the story by now. But the fact that you got this guy back at practice, whether it's in a limited or a full role, is great news for this team, because he's had a really good 2024. I'm about to talk a little bit more about it, but I want you guys to grade it for me in the comment section down below. How would you grade Rashod Bateman's performance so far in the year of 2024? Let me know in the comment section. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's YouTube video. You're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. And when that time comes, find this comment, give me an A, B, C, D, or F. Take a little bit of a deeper dive into this year. 35 receptions, 574 yards, 16.4 yards per catch, and 5 touchdowns in the 13 games he's played so far this season. The 6'1", 197-pound receiver has had career highs in both yards and touchdowns, and we've still got 4 games left to go in the year of 2024. So suffice it to say, he's been really important in this offense. And it's easy to kind of, I don't want to say forget about Rashod Bateman, but I think it's easy to get him lost in the shuffle, right? Because you got Lamar Jackson, you got Derrick Henry, new hairstyle for Derrick Henry, by the way, no more dreads. He's got the braids. They look kind of sick. But you got Derrick Henry, you got Lamar, you got Zay Flowers, you got Mark Andrews, and then you kind of get to Rashod Bateman. And he's as important as, I would say, besides Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, any one of those guys. He's had a great year. Of course, he's dealt with a little bit of drops, but what receiver, what player doesn't have their warts here and then? Great to see he's back in practice. Hopeful to see him this upcoming Sunday against the Giants. Next guy that we highlighted in the first little listicle, first list of guys who did or did not practice, was the last one on there, and that's Kyle Van Noy. Now, he did not play against the Eagles with that hamstring injury, right? Was listed on the injury report before the game, was not able to play, and this pass rush suffered because of it. If you look at what they did against Philadelphia as a whole, they got 4 quarterback pressures. I'm convinced that if you just threw Producer Allie and myself out there on a 2-man rush for an entire game, we could get more than 4 pressures. I got a wicked swim move, ladies and gentlemen. 4 pressures against the Eagles. They had a quarterback pressure rate of 19.0. That is the 28th worst of the 416 games so far in the NFL. They had a bottom 30 performance in that game against the Eagles. And Kyle Van Noy has had a pretty great season. He started off really hot, 6 sacks in the first 4 games, and then has tailed off a little bit in the last 9 with only 2 sacks, okay? So it's time to get him back involved in this lineup. It's time to get him back in this stat sheet, because he was an absolute game wrecker the first few weeks of the season. He's tailed off a little bit, but man, with him getting healthy over this bye week, him back at practice, and you got to look forward to this Giants game upcoming, I expect him to make some big plays as the Ravens are rounding out this season. And guys, at the end of the day, I'm kind of going to round up this first point, if I will, or if I may. this bye week has really come at a great time, okay? And we saw going into this season, we said, a week 14 bye week, that kind of sucks. But you stayed relatively healthy through the first 13 weeks of the season. So by the time you got to that bye week, it's coming at a really good point to where people are playing their third, fourth, or fifth straight games, and they still got 4 more left to play. But you're getting a week of rest. You're getting people to come back because we all know these last 4 games of the season are going to have massive playoff implications for Baltimore. I got to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video before we move on to anything else. And there's our good friends over there at Prize Picks. Make your holidays bigger and brighter with Prize Picks. The best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. You can now win up to 200 times your money on Prize Picks. And Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus because it's guaranteed. Join now because this holiday season, Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. You're looking at a couple of my picks for this upcoming weekend of football. They're giving you a freebie here with Patrick Mahomes. Just has to have more than half a pass yard. And I love the Army-Navy football game, so I had to get in on that action. Bryson Daly, quarterback at Army. I'm giving them more on 61.5 pass yards. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus because it's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Thanks so much for tuning in to today's video so far. I hope you've been enjoying it. This is the place to be. I promise you, if you love the Baltimore Ravens, you get daily Ravens videos 2 times a day, Tuesdays through Fridays. Breaking news coverage. You go live every single week for the Ravens games, also on Tuesdays as well tonight. And it's all 100% free. There's 23,000 plus Ravens fans that rock with me on this channel, and I want you to be the next one. All right, let's get to number 2 on our triple dose of good news, and that's a little bit of a Drew Lock update, okay? Pat Leonard covers the New York Giants, tweeted this out today saying that Brian Daboll is still the Giants head coach. Hilarious that you have to specify that at this point in the season. His injury updates. QB Drew Lock is getting an MRI as we speak. Has a couple of things in his sore. We'll see. Lock will be our quarterback this week unless he can't because of injury. And you might be asking yourself, Joey, it sounds like their starting quarterback is going to play. How can that be good news? Well, I have good news for you. Their starting quarterback sucks. Okay, this is his stats against New Orleans this past Sunday. 42.9% completion percentage. 227 yards, 0 touchdowns, and an interception, okay? And Drew Lock is one of those guys. Unfortunately, he can bite you every now and then, right? He's like one of those Ryan Fitzpatrick, Gardner Minshew that if you catch him on the wrong night, he can go for 300 with 3 touchdowns. But if you catch him on the right night, like most of his nights are, he's going to hit you for like maybe 200. Probably a touchdown, probably a pick in there as well. And so, you know what? Like, I'll live with that. I'll take my chances, and the fact that you're going up against a quarterback who definitely is coming off a really big struggle game against the New Orleans Saints, I think that's just good news for the Baltimore Ravens. All right, it's time to get to our third point, okay? And it has to do with this Week 15 matchup against the Steelers and against the Eagles, okay? This isn't in our schedule. This isn't our game. But, man, we got some good news going into it because we need a Steelers loss. Please, 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 Philadelphia, pull it off for us. George Pickens. Let's give a little bit of news and update on him. This one, again, coming from a beat reporter for a different team. This one from Brooke Pryor with ESPN. She tweets this out. George Pickens is dealing with a grade 2 hamstring strain. Sources tell ESPN. Hamstrings are tricky injuries, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers are extra cautious with their top receiver during this 3-game gauntlet. And guys, he's their top receiver. And because of that, this could be massive for Baltimore. Because still, when you look at the AFC North standings, you're 2 games behind the Pittsburgh Steelers as it sits right now. And they've got to go on the road against Philadelphia, play a really good Eagles team that beats you, and then they got to go to your house, okay? And you want that game in your building to mean as much as it can. If they lose this game against Philadelphia, with George Pickens out of the lineup, it's making it look like a little more likely. If they drop that game, then all you got to do is beat them at home the week after, and you're tied for the division, and then you go into the tiebreakers and see who has the actual lead, okay? So a lot of good things happening coming out of these past couple days for Baltimore, and I can't wait to see how all of it plays out on the stretch end of this season. Who wins that game? I just flashed up. I know it's like, 5 days away from now? It's Tuesday morning. If you think it's the Eagles, give me a PHI in the comment section down below. And if you think it's the Steelers, type Pitt for me. You guys choose in the comment section. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. This has been Ravens Rundown. I am your host, Joey Petersen. Reminder, we will be live this evening, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Come join us. Come hang out. We'll be live for about an hour. Chopping it up, talking all about the Baltimore Ravens. So I'll see you then.